What exactly is a legacy? What does it take for a place to become a legacy? What sort of places come to mind when the term legacy is spoken? When the term legacy is mentioned, I come up with the meaning of something that has made a genuine impact, something that is lasting and continues to create a positive outcome. Paschal's restaurant is indeed a legacy. Paschal's restaurant was founded and run by the two Paschal brothers, James and Robert Paschal. In 1947, the two brothers opened a restaurant in Atlanta, Georgia. These two brothers obtained homemade recipes, perfected them, and sold them to the public. The restaurant attracted the local college students from the surrounding Atlanta universities, Clark Atlanta University, as well as the local pastors of churches. The restaurant was originally located on West Hunter Street, which is now Martin Luther King Jr. Drive. In 1957, the Paschal brothers relocated the restaurant across the street, where they also added on a hotel to their position. They renovated and added more rooms and venues to the hotel, where they began to supply fine hospitality. Paschal's Motorhome and Restaurant was sold to Clark Atlanta University in 1996, and after a while, the restaurant was boarded up by the state and the hotel was turned into a dormitory. Years later, the university took full ownership of the entire property and renamed it as the Paschal Center. In the year of 2002, with some help of Mr. Herman Russell, Paschal's was back in business. They opened up a new venue about a mile away from their original location. The current location of Paschal's is off of Northside Drive, resting in the Castleberry Hill area, a few blocks down from the original location. Paschal's was taken over by Concessions International, which is owned and operated by the second-generation Russell family. Concessions International still owns and operates all Paschal's and has evolved the restaurant to a franchise. There is another Paschal's location, and that is located in the Hartsville-Jackson Airport on Concourse B. So now, in the mood for some genuine Southern food, you can obtain it right before you catch a flight. Paschal's restaurant wasn't only an establishment where one could come in, eat some great fried chicken, even though their fried chicken is truly great. No, it was a place where one could have an experience, a place where one could rest and become rejuvenated, as well as a place where one could take refuge. Paschal's was a home for many people. The history that lies in this legacy is like any other. Paschal's restaurant was not only a restaurant, it held many hats. Paschal's decided to take notice in the community and see what the community needed and how they could use it to thrive. The Paschal brothers opened up La Carousel Lounge in December of 1960 as part of their restaurant to expand and reach their community. They showcased some of the great local artists as well as nationally acclaimed artists as Aretha Franklin, Lou Rawls, the Ramsey Lewis Trio, and many more at La Carousel Lounge. Paschal's history mentions that the La Carousel Lounge was considered, and I quote, Atlanta's jazz mecca for more than a decade, end quote. After seeing the success in the community due to the opening of La Carousel Lounge, the Paschal brothers decided to keep expanding and growing their community involvement. 7 years later, after the opening of La Carousel Lounge, the Paschal brothers opened the motorhome portion of their establishment. The Paschal motorhome, and I quote, featured 120 rooms, meeting rooms, additional dining spaces, and a swimming pool. It became the place for wedding receptions, college reunions, parties, and Friday night dinner dates. Paschal's restaurant and its subsidiaries provided employment for students as well as others in the Atlanta community, end quote. This was stated in Mr. James Paschal's obituary. Paschal's Motorhome was not only served as a place for people to stay for events or parties, it was a huge factor in the civil rights movement. The establishment was used as a meeting place, and it was used for a place to take refuge. In the obituary of James Paschal, it was said that, and I quote, Paschal Motorhome served as an important meeting place for key civil rights leaders and strategists, including the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. During the student protests, the restaurant served protesters of all races who were contributing their bit to promote integration. Political leaders, community activists, and Atlanta's black clergy frequented the restaurant, end quote. The Paschal brothers believed in the community, and it was apparent in their hospitality and authenticity. On the Paschal's Legacy website, it was mentioned that, and I quote, James and Robert Paschal would often post bond for arrested protesters. They would also serve complimentary meals and extend their hours to provide a central location where parents and friends could greet their loved ones after being released from jail, end quote. During a time of racial tension, the Paschal brothers created a safe place where they tried their best to eliminate the tension and disagreements, a place where blacks and whites could come together and be one. Now, Paschal's has made a dent in history and created an incredible legacy in the manner, but they have also created a legacy in a way that goes right to the taste buds. Paschal's restaurant is known for their fried chicken, their mouth-watering, crunchy, and deliciously spiced fried chicken. I read about this remarkable fried chicken, but no one can ever know the true value of a legendary fried chicken until they've tasted it for their own. I made a reservation for a Saturday lunch and took a drive to Northside Drive in Atlanta, where the historical restaurant sits. I was taken away at how beautiful the inside of the restaurant was. It had a modern look, but a historical feel with the unique brick and breathtaking fixtures. My family and I were greeted by a friendly host, where he sat us down at a nice booth. The waiter was assigned to our table and was extremely friendly, answered any questions we had. We started off our experience with fresh bread that was brought to our table. It was a basket with hot, fresh, homemade rolls and cornbread. It was so apparent that the food was homemade and high quality. Paschal's is known for their fried chicken. It's been voted #1 in the state of Georgia for many years, so of course my family had to test it out. I ordered the chicken with a side of macaroni and cheese as well as cheese grits. I know, super healthy, huh? My family ordered other sides such as collard greens, black-eyed peas, and mashed potatoes. As we waited for our food, bellies grumbling, we admired the artwork tastefully displayed on the walls. There were photos of Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr., the President Barack Obama, and even photos and drawings of the original Paschals. Once we got our food, it was as if we were in heaven. The food was piping hot, but we were eating it through the heat. It was that good. The fried chicken had a certain spice and flavor that I had never tasted in my life. It was phenomenal, and the macaroni and cheese was out of this world. The cheese grits that I ordered were creamy and superbly delicious. I'm not ashamed to say that I completed my meal with no hesitation. I also took a taste of my family's side dishes, and they were no disappointment. The food was high quality. You could tell that every dish was made with genuine love and maybe just a touch. Unfortunately, we were all too stuffed to taste any of the desserts that Paschal has offered. They are known for their peach cobbler. It's said to be the very best in Atlanta. Once we settled our checks, we walked around the restaurant and observed the restaurant. We saw the characteristic seating and exceptional artwork. We even got a taste of the morsel of history. There were plaques hanging that described the history of Paschal's. The plaque started from the very beginning in 1947 to the present day. It was executed very fast. First, I was hesitant to drive all the way to Atlanta, which takes an hour, to see a restaurant with fried chicken that I thought I could get in my hometown. But I was wrong. It was such a great experience. I'm so grateful that I could take my family along with me to help experience this historical landmark. Paschal's is still open to serve delicious fried chicken and cornbread. They are located off Northside Drive in Castleberry Hill area, a few blocks down from their original location. So if you are in the mood for some great soul food with a side of history, make your way down to Paschal's to enjoy a genuine experience. Paschal's is more than just a place where one plops down and devours great soul food. It's an establishment where life happens.